Immediately I find myself captivated by not only the view of the ocean, but also these creatures and the types of boat they're using, clothing these people are wearing and everything else. It's this reason I adore the anime so much and its excellent world building. Yeah, go ahead and give us like 30 frames in this tiny segment because you're incredible! Going first person like it's no big deal whatsoever! Also, while I've got you here, I'm asking for you to subscribe. Numbers are down and they're annoyingly tied to my sense of self-worth, so help me! God, I absolutely adore the animation style. It's so smooth and the colour palette is so vibrant.
それはつまり裸で泳ぐということか。
やめておいた方がいい。この海は魔物が多い。
That reaction. Also though, scenery shot of a city in the distance that looks incredible. This level of world building on display, always the same for this one. Excellent attention to detail. One of the best examples in recent memory of mixing hand animation with CGI to stunningly great effect.
いやいや、1年それなりに活動してきて、俺だけ名前を覚えられていない。
I shouted this out in the first half too, but I like it when anime run multiple conversations at the same time, achieving a more realistic feel, since naturally one conversation doesn't stop as another one starts in real life. This food has no right to be looking this good. It's like food wars up in here.
今日の議題はズバリお金です。ルイジェルドさんの渡航費用は緑光線200枚。
I've always been a fan of video games or anime where the main characters start at the bottom. It's the reason I enjoyed Final Fantasy, Grand Theft Auto, Tensura, and My Hero Academia. They start with little and end up with a lot. I enjoy those humble beginnings, like right here as they're seriously short of money. Also though, this nicely serves to tell us how expensive his travel is, that even performing S-ranked jobs, it'd take years and years to build up enough just to take their friend on a boat. It shows how much they're despised by people.
私も何か考えてみるわ。
そうですね。しばらく可能性を探ってみましょう。
This short scene nicely carrying over their character growth from the first half, as now they're an actual team and act like it.
いや前は僕の助言で大変なことになったでしょ。露店で食料を買い込んで路地裏を歩くといいよ。
勝手に助言すんな。
Goodness me, that CGI is still as awesome looking as the first time I saw it, and I always enjoy these scenes for their mysterious elements. Oh, I missed Jobless Reincarnation! Such visuals! Such gratitude from me! This incredibly cute reaction from her, also showing true happiness for achieving something real to her in life, worlds apart from where she was when we first met her. It is agonizing that they keep almost meeting like this, I'm not gonna lie. Didn't expect another showing of a different language being spoken so soon into the anime, but I'll take it and you can take my win. Love the voice actress and her other works, great introduction to the character, shame about the lack of clothing as it'll require me to get very creative with the editing, so keep that in mind.
これは失礼を。陛下。
Yes, that just gets one. That made me laugh likely way harder than intended with that little reaction. See? She's great.
じゃあ巨万の富を。
Art style change. Okay, I swear, that's the last one. I can't go winning it every single time, but that was brilliant. I've rarely ever seen facial reactions line up so stupidly perfect to the voice. That's incredible. Oh my god, that reaction from him was insane! Take a win for his voice acting as well!
そして俺は予見眼を手に入れた。
Him gaining this new strange ability like this. I'm in love with this anime. I hope it's consensual.
どうした？聞こえてんのか？
That was absolutely sick!
魔力を制御して見え方を作るのだ。見える未来の区間は魔眼に込める魔力の量で調整することができる。
Yes, this is what I was waiting for. The reveal that he is able to see slightly further ahead in the future in some way. Otherwise, I thought it was a bit of a waste.
長くて1秒先。これがブレない未来の見解だ。よし。よっと。反撃の隙を与えず。動きを封じてフィニッシュ!
This entire scene was incredible as a demonstration of how well it works, that it allowed him to beat her for the very first time. Excellently done with the animation and play-by-play, not to mention how great the effect itself was displayed. Take a maximum 2 wins for that.
乾杯ね。
エリス。
甘い。
I had a feeling she would do that and then he did this, and for some reason it caught me off guard already and I got hyped!
もしかして今ならルイジルドさんにも勝てたり？
やってみるか。
はい。やっぱりルイジルドさんには勝てませんね。
I'll avoid showing it just in case, but the damage to his face was excellently done. So much detail, and it also goes to show just how powerful Orsted is too.
ガンは偶然手に入れたものなのに。そんな力で努力してきたエリスに勝って、嬉しがって。
This little bit of reflection from him just showing his own character growth from the start. Also, take one here for how well built the scenes are, like the glowing light from the moon, and in an earlier moment where they sat by candlelight, like the glow is mesmerizing. Very similar to visuals you'd find in Made in Abyss.
売るつもりか。
はい。
その杖はお前にとって大切なものではないのか。
Such a nice touch considering it felt to me like he tried to take his attention away from the staff and likely thoughts of selling it earlier on by admitting the fault was his, in an attempt to take the blame and responsibility to deal with their issue himself.
杖を手放すこともお前の言うパーティーの亀裂ではないのか。海を渡り終えるまで全ての悪事に目をつぶる。腹を割って話し合うというのは骨の折れることだな。
Just a great end to the episode, really nicely exploring their relationship as a team and what each of them is trying to achieve, trying to hold on to, and it's so well done and ultimately culminating in him giving up his high morals for a brief moment in time whilst they break the law and stow aboard a ship. Okay, I'm not sure I've ever done this. I have with OPs, but I don't think with an ED, but this is getting maximum wins. Not only because the song is lovely and calming, which is to be expected, but mainly due to the outstanding level of animation in it. It was nothing short of gorgeous, and clearly so much dedication was poured into it by the studio and the animators, and I loved it. Especially the very end with the book filled with their language, something I praised in the first half too. Oh, so good!
男の汗の匂い、いいですわ。
I like her!
現在佢啊，會會嘅。做到嚟嚟，咩到咧？就算你啦，佢係邊
？They're really leaning into the language aspect so heavily. Can't disguise my joy!
お二人は国老の牙の元メンバーだったのですよね。昔のパウロさんってどんな感じだったのでしょう？
クズじゃな。
クズですわ。
Animating multiple characters moving within one scene. I didn't know if it'd be a one-off, so I didn't mention it during the 12th episode, but take one here for again skipping the OP in favour of more sweet, juicy content. It's something I winned a few times during everything great about Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun, which by the way isn't out as you're watching this unless it's now the end of January 2022 at least, in which case it should be out, and that's building a scene. They did an awesome job in that anime, and do here too. Really giving across the vibe of an otherworldly inn with the candles lit, the wooden tables, armour on the walls, food and drink on display, and these rugs. I love that dedication. Also, like, who would think to put this light source outside of a building? Not many, but it builds the scene. They want to have some light at night, and this is how you achieve that in the dark streets.
長身で色白で槍を持つ美男子だとか。私がベッドで聞いてみましょうか。
I know it's not the most inventive win, but take one here for her. I don't think I've ever come across a female character like this. She's a proper horn dog.
そうじゃな。これから人探しをするときに悪党に目をつけられてはかなわん。
Oh man, you really didn't have to go through the effort of animating her walking to the chair. So many frames someone had to do, and it's so smooth because there's so many in it. Outstanding!
赤毛の剣士と槍を持った長身の男。
Now getting to see it from her perspective. Very nicely done. Not running on the spot. Bruh, it's small, but how many anime actually show the repairs done after stuff like this? Normally it's lol, a gaping big hole, and about our day we go. But not here, it was boarded up!
宿の修理費、かなり痛い出費です。
And then you crazy talented and dedicated writers actually wrote this into the scene as well!
なんだかきな臭いが、今は頼るしかない。
Ah, that's so good! The large gorgeous ship in the distance reminding me of medieval Europe, and the fact that the guy saved as a criminal who wants to now help them out in return for a small favour. Such good storytelling and world building, I swear. I won't show his dream, it got kind of lack of clothesy at the end, but it was funny and surprisingly well animated in places for a silly dream. Oh dear Lord! I've never done it before, but that's an actual work of art. That is beyond anything I think I've witnessed before for a scenery shot. Take 2 wins. They're so good. Enough said. I can't not do it for that.
だからよ、あいつうぜえからぶっ殺してやったんよ。
こんなところに潜んでるなんて、さすが密輸組織ってとこか。
ここだ。
Absolutely not showing it, but these are legit bad people. Terrible people. I'm in a state of near shock at wanting to know what's going to happen when he sees what they're doing for himself.
全員助けるのだな。
結構な数の警備がいますよ。どうします？
皆殺しだ。
I am so very much on board with this dude after hearing and seeing what I just saw. Also, I love how you can hear the fury in his voice. Excellent acting right there.
ごめんなさい。
おいおい。
Oh, that was sick.
まさか本物のスペルト族ってことはねえよな。
Showing that his hair has grown during the long voyage. Such a nice touch, dude.
もう大丈夫です。助けに来ました。
So glad he saved them and didn't abandon them.
ルーデウス、俺だ。
Super nice touch having him grab his weapon just in case it wasn't actually him. That would have been a typical anime move to leave it be. But here there's realism. He doesn't know it's him 100%, so he arms himself just in case.
ルイジェルドさんはこの子たちをよろしくお願いします。
わかった。敵はもういないが気を抜くな。
了解です。
God, I adore his character and how he acts and the things he says. It's not even funny.
ダメよ、ワンちゃん。私には妻と夫が。
なんちゅう触り心地。
Being nice to animals is always a win.
ああ、たまらねえぜ。
Oh my word, as a dad to 2 sweet Labrador boys, this utterly warms my heart.
あれまずい。
Unexpected plot twist!
建材は温かみのある木材、ブナっぽい何か。ベッドは備え付けられていますが、少し虫が湧いているのが難点です。
As calm as he's being, the reality behind his cell is brilliant. It's unlikely the bed would be supremely clean, let's be real, and the toilet is a hole in the floor. That's spot on, get out of it! Probably one of the most inventive and creative looking environments I've witnessed. Stunningly gorgeous and really reminding me of some of the best memories from games I've played in the past. Truly a wonderful sight to behold this. Also, take another one here for adapting the people to the location, like them wearing less clothing, because it's clearly hot and there's no dust getting kicked up everywhere, plus different looking animals and foods too.
ルイジェルドとエリスが来てくれるのを待とう。
I adore stuff like this! What an inventive way of setting up a cell in a forest! You're so creative it hurts!
なんだよ急に敬語はやめろよ。
スピードワゴンだ! Get another plot twist of that! I think the only other anime I've ever seen be quite so forceful in its visuals, in this case cutting some of the women down as they run, is the 1997 version of the excellent Berserk. It's brutal and I dig that mature side to the anime.
しかし、それにしてもこの光景はあまりにも胸くそ悪い。
This is the side to him that really clicks with me. Yes, he can be a bit of a weirdo, but there's that really indescribable quality to him that often shines at moments such as these.
従属を助けて恩を売る。
いいぜ、気に入った。
I like this new guy. He gets a win.
思いっきり冷たい空気を。
見透かせてによしビスピン。腹が利けばお前らごときに遅れは取らん。おお、
かっこいい。
やっぱりあなたでしたか。
飼い主、僕従属の戦士団を釘付けにしてくれてるのによ。
何かあったんですね。
先輩、知り合いか。
A great example of unique angles and shots in this one, making it feel more like a high-budget movie than a TV adaptation.
レッドエンドが正義感気取りか。
そう見られたいもんで。
そうか、お前戦闘をやったぜ。
I gotta be careful with what I'm showing, but that looked amazingly smooth with that additional half-rotating shot.
北西流だ。
よく知ってるな、猿野郎。俺が北西、クリーナーガルスだ。
Even more, Law? Are you crazy? This thing is shaping up to match like the Lord of the Rings at this rate. It's so good. It's so good. It's like being choreographed by an action movie director with visuals like that. It's nothing but a joy for me to witness his incredible magic in a battle now. For these 30 seconds, the teamwork on display, the animation quality, the tenseness of the entire affair and that final attack, it just does get 2 max wins all damn day long.
ルーデウス殿、私もデドルディア族長として改めてお礼申し上げる。ありがとう。
The wholesomeness has caused me physical pain. It's too sweet. I'm too happy.
フィットア領領主サウロス・ボレアス・グレイラット、よってその任を解き即刻死刑に処す。
Okay, so 2 wins here. Firstly, it's for the environment and how different it is to everything we've been seeing the past half dozen episodes or so. Secondly, it's for the plot twist. You can't do my old man like that.
エリス、最愛の孫娘よ。もし生きているなら、どうか幸せに。
Oh man, I didn't actually expect that. That legit made me feel sad and genuinely a little unwell. That hit me hard in the gut. These amazing weather effects. Glad to see this little legend having made it into his collection. Man, even the food on display is vastly different to the cheap and non-cheap options they were eating back in episode 12 at the start.
私の名前はテルセナです。二人とも上手。
あのエリスが言語を教えている。
あれ？10歳の誕生日にギレーヌからもらったの。
ギレーヌ。どこかでのたれ死んでいると思っていたのにな。
Learning about Ghislaine's connection to this group of people, just irritating that it took me quite so long to pick up on the fact that she's clearly one of them.
なんなのよあんた。ギレーヌは私の師匠よ。一番尊敬してるんだから。助けてって言えばすぐに来てくれるんだから。すごく足が速くてすごく強いんだから。
This very rare and emotional display of her feelings towards her dear friend and master, cracking bit of voice acting to boot.
ギレーヌは本当にそんな立派な人間になっているのか。
少なくとも僕は尊敬しています。
Such a great mature reply. I feel like most others would have said, oh yes, of course she is, or something of the like, but he's keeping it very real, none over the top. Like I said, very mature. Writing like that is just the best.
ビス、イゼルシー、ヤクス。からずいにゃ、エリサ、サニーシュにゃ。
Having them now learning to speak the main language, thus having it easily represented in Japanese to the viewer. The same creative way they did it in the great movie The 13th Warrior years ago, and in the TV show Vikings to a lesser degree. It's just a good way of transitioning from the new language to the native speakers. On top of excellent animation is this stunning sounding heavy rain effects. Feels like I'm in the rain, you feel me?
本当ですよ。読み書きや算術だってできるようになりました。
あのギレーヌが。
人は変わるんです。
This feels really poignant coming from him because it's true how much he himself has changed. I liked that. Quite poetic, really. I praised this in Jujutsu Kaisen, and it can be fairly easy to miss, but kudos for doing that little focus moment between the frog up close and them in the distance and then altering it. Another new touch that adds to realism without most even noticing. This battle, it's sick!
トーナ、たった3ヶ月で随分動けるようになったじゃない。
This nice little method of avoiding exposition by having a time period that's passed come up naturally in conversation. Always better than a 3 months later narration or pop up on screen.
トーナ、エリサス。
Genuinely super unexpected turn of events! This legit looks real. My wife actually said the same thing when I pointed it out to her. It's utterly gorgeous. Oh, this music and learning more about her past is so well done. It's got me borderline emotional. It's so good, it's insane.
ほら行きますよ。
So much credit to them for firstly having this big good boy in the anime in general, and secondly, massive credit to the animators for doing him entirely hand-drawn to this point. Must be such a pain. The fact that they all made up in these cute little figurines, bless all their hearts.
ル
ルイジェルド殿のおかげで今年の雨季は
Another small win is for their baggage. You think how often people travel huge differences with naffle bags. They just materialise out of thin air. Not here.
ありがとう。しかと見せてもらった。
あれ分かってないの俺だけ？
どうしたシンリー？
Ah, yes, I totally forgot about this dude, but very happy after his actions during the last episode for him to be hanging around. He really did stand for so much good in that final battle. I like him. I shouted this out again in Aruma-kun. Take a win for animating a horse. Normally always CGI. They must be a nightmare to animate as they're so often CGI.
この世で最も強いとされる7人の戦士のことさ。1位から順に義神、龍神、闘神、魔神、死神、剣神、北神だったかな。
This very brief little introduction to the 7 great powers, the order they're in, what it means to train under one of them, and also how it impacts the world. In this case, the little road marking. Such great lore. Another great thing about these kinds of anime done right is the vastly different views that I just adore seeing. From villages where we started, to shanty towns, to large cities with buildings with marble flooring. Then we've been out in the desert, into thick monster-filled forests, on the high seas, and most recently, a forest of insanely huge trees, and now we're witnessing this. It's awe-inspiring to me. My god, it looks like real life! Also, loads of not walking on the spot like a bunch of non-lazy legends.
見えたぜ。あれがミリス新生国首都ミリシオンだ。
I'm blown away. They look so outstanding after what I only just wrote 3 wins back. I'm so in love with this anime. Thinking of asking it to marry me. Also though, take another one here for just suddenly throwing this lovely song at our faces too, fitting this new city to a T.
そうですか。ルイジェルドさんが言うなら。
ゴブリンぐらい一人で大丈夫よ。
エリスの護衛は頼んだぞ、ルイジェルド。デッドエンドの掟その1、子供は見捨てるな。掟その2、子供は絶対に見捨てるな。
I just think it's great for his character that he wants to clear their name. He's changed in so many ways in just over half this first season.
わかった。
This demonstration of the ease of use of his magic. So good!
何があった？気をつけろ。
Not showing it, but a very cute lady just ran in. She's cute. Emergency! Also coming back to this in 50 seconds time, we see loads of jubblies during the battle. It's amazing, but it's for my grateful eyes only. New waifu alert! Oh my god, is that his dad?
ルディ。
俺をその名前で呼ぶ男は一人しかいない。そう、それは正真正銘、この世界での俺の。
Oh my god, it is his dad! Take 2 wins. I'm so shocked. It's amazing.
ルディ。
父様、お久しぶりです。
Also take 1 here for the disheveled look of his father. Not only has he aged in the past few years, but clearly he's struggling with alcohol addiction and it's all present on his face.
しかし思い返せばなかなか楽しい旅だった。
お前がこの1年ちょっとの間遊び歩いてたってことはよく分かった。なあ、お前どうしてマ大陸で他に災害に巻き込まれた奴らの情報を集めなかった？
I see his father is still deeply struggling with his personality faults, sadly. Also 50% of this win is because the voice actor is doing a fantastic job so far and he's one of my personal favourites.
一生懸命やってきたんだ。
Him using the demon eye and absolutely rocking this scene like a badass.
モロ覚えてるかお兄ちゃん。
お父さんをいじめないで。
いじめ？俺がいじめ？いや、だって。
Such a sad scene, man, and not at all how I thought these events might have played out. Now he's met his sister for the worst ever first proper meeting, and everyone is looking at him like he's the bad guy in this. It's rough, man.
母様も見つかってないんですか？
ああ、全く見つからねえよ。リーリャとアイシャもな。俺たちはを探すためにこうやって捜索団を組織している。
You know what? They can take 2 max wins here. The story, which I already thought was great, now has so much more behind it with the reveal of how many people were teleported, how big of an event it was that it's now called the Disaster, and then developing some lore alongside it, in how some people have been enslaved as a result of winding up so far from their homes.
もう一度話そう。何？前にもこういうことあったじゃないか。話せばわかるさ。
2 wins here, firstly due to him being far more deeply wounded by his father's words than originally thought, suddenly throwing up violently after a fairly happy sounding plan he'd thought up.
ただいまルーです。聞いて、さっきゴブリンたちを倒してきたら誰よ、誰にやられたの？
なんでもないよ。
そんなはずない。
And the second win is for her reaction here. Tells me everything I need to know about how she feels about him that she reacted so suddenly and aggressively towards the person who made him feel this way.
大丈夫よ。私がついてるから。
Oh, she's so sweet during moments like these. I can't help but call back to the first time they met, how much she's grown in so many ways since then.
どうした？
大丈夫だ。すぐ家に帰ろう。
Brilliantly displaying just how quickly Paul and his daughter were transported from their home to here in the middle of nowhere. Also splitting this win into 2, half the win is for this demonstration of just how huge their world is, that after all their travelling, he hasn't seen a single other person. The other half is for the scene building how hard Paul had it, having it make much more sense why he was so harsh to his son. Also, even though it's only partially in frame, this little representation of their world on a map.
ギースってめえ、どこ行ってやがった？
ああ、なんだなんだ。
He knows geese! This is nuts! Maybe he'll actually say something about his son that'd make him proud. I don't know, but let's cautiously advance together.
かわいそうにな。すっげえ苦労して旅してきて、せっかく父親と再会できたっていうのに、その父親は叫びたりのクズときたもんだ。な、パウロ、なんで素直に再会を喜ばねえんだ。いいじゃねえか。ルーデウスがどんな旅をしてきたって。
Geese in his explanation actually now do seem pretty spot on and covered something I hadn't considered, that maybe he wanted to lighten his father's burden by making it seem like he had a better time of it than he actually did, that maybe he saw the state his father was in and felt sorry for him. An interesting notion. This lovely lady is now wearing gear again, so I can say, kawaii!
こりゃダメかもしれねえな。
Him starting to sober up a little after his friend's poignant statement about how he'd want to see his son that would make him happy, and witnessing a vivid vision of his son crawling to him, injured and hurting. That was really well done. Yeah, let's go ahead and put 75 frames into the tearing of the bread scene because we're badass animators who have nothing but dedication.
あれが昨日言ってた。
はい。スペルト族のルイジェルドさんです。
随分と気の良さそうなやつじゃないか。
怖がったりしないんですか？
バカ言え。息子の恩人だぞ。
As bad a guy as Paul had kind of been, like, he had his reasons but did go too far obviously, it kind of speaks to his character and the sheer amount of travelling he's likely done during his adventuring that he's able to not react in the same way as almost literally everyone else does when faced with a spared. Such a small detail, but I love it that he's a real person tending the bar and listening and reacting. Not sure I've ever witnessed that before during a scene they're not specifically involved in any way.
その後母様やリーレを探そうと思います。
It's weird, right? But to me in this very moment, he looks grown up. Or at the least, the most grown up to date. Maybe it's through the eyes of his father or something, but yeah, it just suddenly hit me.
サービスだ。なあ、坊主。詳しいことはわかんねえが、顔ぐらい見てやれよ。
Such a great moment, the raw emotion on display, the barman actually getting involved in his own way to try and have a father and son make up by offering a warm drink before he left. So good, man.
俺がこんなに落ち込んでいるのに、もし次に来てくれたら謝ろうと思ってた。でもあいつが来ることは二度となかった。パウロは来てくれた。わざわざ出向き謝りに来てくれた。
Naturally I'll show around it, but take one here for just another look into the difficulty of his prior life. Then he uses his painful experience mixed with his new life to learn from that prior mistake of letting pride shut his friend out of his life.
父様、会いたかった。
ルディ。
ほら、久々に再会した息子へ一言あるでしょ。
Oh, this is so sweet, so very wholesome.
ずっと誰も見つからなくて死んでるんじゃないかって思ってごめんな。
Yeah, that's so good it gets another win. Consider it a split maximum 2 wins for that.
では明日この町を出ようと思いますが、お二人はそれでよろしいでしょうか。
私は構わないわ。
旅立てば二度と会えんかもしれんぞ。
探さなければ二度と会えない家族がいるので、そちらを優先したいと思います。
Nothing specific, just lovely and subtle music in the background, giving a sense of melancholy, but with a bit of hope too, as the future plan is set out, just effortlessly putting together really impactful scenes with a breeze. Very quick double scenery shot of this amazing city.
よし。なら、シェラ、打ち合わせの準備をしてくれ。
The end of the episode, foregoing the ED to give us extra minutes, and especially for Paul's revived sense of hope and purpose in finding his family. Brilliant episode, so stupidly great. And one final scenery shot that I absolutely cannot ignore.
こういう手合いは久しぶりだな。
こんなに強い者がいるとは世界はまだまだ広いな。
It's incredible to me just how quickly this anime has shot up amongst my personal favourites, but just as I mentioned during win number 348, the animators and studios seem to be able to just create scenes that ooze that something special you often don't find much. The music, the voice acting, and the animation, it's something truly unique.
ポジティブに考えよう。やっと中央大陸に帰れるんだ。王竜王国を越えれば。
I swear they do weather effects just about the best I've seen outside of an anime movie, and they animated the boat. Man, I thought the one I saw in Bakemonogatari was beautiful. This site is even better.
実家には顔出したのかよ。おいおい、マジかよ。もしかしてあの頃以来ずっと帰ってねえのか？
This scene going over her past exploits and how she's grown as a character, which I appreciated since we haven't had much of a focus on her in a dozen episodes or so.
生まれてから大人になるまでずっと疎外感を感じながら生きてきた。排他的で閉じられた世界。私はこの村が嫌いだ。
On top of the previous scene, we get this one, going over her childhood and how it was difficult for her due to her inability to use telepathy.
再び立ち上がる力を与え、ヒーリング。
That feels like a really clever way of demonstrating their using of telepathy.
好きなだけここにいなさい。もう行ってしまうのか?
Something tells me I missed his voice actor during the first half video, so I'll win it here. Senku from Dr. Stone and Subaru from ReZero.
また会えたら空だから泣かないって決めてた。ごめんなさいね。
お母さん。
50% of the win was for that amazing voice acting as she cried. Wonderful. And the other 50% is for another demonstration of how varied these homes look from location to location.
私悪い子なの。だから誰もお話ししてくれないの。ごめんね。お母さんのせいで。
Oh, you got me. Well played. That got me. Such a great scene, and so many gorgeous frames in that animation. Reminded me of the image of Hanekawa crying whilst trying to pretend that she's okay in Bakemonogatari. Equally full of frames.
私は今初めて分かった。大切なことは言葉ではなかったのだと。
Take one more for that sentiment at the end, that it wasn't about the words, but about these powerful emotions and bonds between them as family. Amazing scene.
確か名前は
ルーデス君よ。
そうそう、ルーデスだ。はい。ルイジェルドってのはスペルド族な。
スペルド族。
Her reactions here.
スペルド族を仲間にしてしまうなんて、どこまですごい人になってしまうのでしょうか。
Can't ignore it when an anime moves multiple characters within a single scene. Incredible dedication to the world building by doing it here, adding that life essence to it. Scenery shot of the entire amazing looking city.
ああ、ごめんごめん。調子に乗ってたよ。
Just like I mentioned during the first half, I adore this CGI. It's so smooth and done so well.
なんでそんなところにいるなら見つからないはずが。
I liked that moment for some reason. Like, half the reason I know I liked it is the mystery element, but the other half I can't figure out. Maybe it was due to him trying to stay there longer than he should, or perhaps it was the real world throwing up that woke him, but stuff like that intrigues me. These two shots of this new city with an Asian-styled theme to it. God, that's stunning looking! Yeah, take another one for the next few scenery shots. Just like in the first half, I'm blown away by the sheer volume of world building in moments like these, truly filling in this world with life and colour, making it feel real. I'm so impressed I can barely express it in all honesty.
ここがシーロー王国の首都なのね。
人神が手紙を出せと言った知り合い。そう、おそらくそれはロキシーのことだ。しかし本当にリーリャたちがいるのならば、とっくにロキシーが見つけているはずなのだが。
Okay, you know what? I was going to honestly do it for win number 368, but it didn't quite fit the bill. But now they can take 2 max wins for these outstanding scenes. I cannot fathom the amount of time and effort that went into each of them. So detailed, it's insane. Take 2 wins for the effort and the world building qualities.
とりあえず情報の出所を聞かれなくてよかった。
Another Bakemonogatari reference incoming, but they also did actual writing on paper where normally it's scribbles. Although I'll freely admit, this is even better than what they did.
人神のことを信用するのであれば、この広い街の中から夢で見させられた場所を探せばいいのだろう。
Just as I love the large world building scenery shots, I also share an equal love for these on the ground ones. I think mainly because extremely few anime ever put as much effort into them as this. Like I've been saying, it just fills the scene and its world as a whole with so much life essence. It tells us about the people, their food, their clothing styles, how they designed their buildings and what daily life is like, all in a matter of seconds or minutes depending on the episode. Just a very quick follow-up to the last win, take one here too for going off of the beaten path, giving us an even better understanding of the city as a result.
無影小魔術ボスや
しっかり捕まっていてくださいね。
Yeah, his magic is friggin' awesome!
兄はまごうことなき変態です変態です
くそ、なるほど、こういうことか。だから人神は名前を名乗るなと言ったのか。
As funny as the scene is, it also does nicely feed into the mystery brought up by the man god earlier on, and every time the prediction becomes clear, it's awesome to me. It's like an episode of JoJo where I can't figure out where they're going with it, and then BAM! Reveal!
というわけで今からこの子の前では僕のことは飼い主と呼んでください。
なんでそんなことするのよ。いってらっしゃいルーデルス。何よ。
That reaction from her.
こんな樽みたいなやつがロクシーを。
おとせ。
I knew something was coming. I could smell the stank half a mile off downwind, and yeah, here we have it. Plot twist! Double plot twist!
その魔法陣はロクシーを捕らえるために作らせた王宮の結界だ。
Kazuma from Konosuba! Excellent demonstration here of just how massive this blast was in terms of their fear at it spreading so quickly, and second half of the win is for her realistic motherly reaction darting off to hold her child. Also, just like I went before with Paul, take another one here for showcasing just how crazy this teleportation was. I mean, it took them to the bottom of a bloody lake!
敷金礼金ゼロ、家賃ゼロ。ちょっと日当たりが悪くてベッドとトイレがないのが難点ですが。
I swear most other anime would gloss over the lack of toilet, but here it's mentioned. It's one of the many, many reasons why Jobless Reincarnation does things differently and is as loved as it is.
世は何も分かっていない。なのに作品を怪我して。聖書
！This entire scene made me laugh, but sadly it's filled with so much Roxy nudity that I cannot display it. But safe to say, it was funny.
我々の家族がパックス殿下に人質に取られているのです。
どういうことよ。
Adding in this little nugget is a brilliant way of demonstrating how these soldiers aren't evil and do wish to resist the little tyrant but cannot.
アイシャを連れて行くわけにはいかん。
お姉ちゃん。
分かったわ。ここは私に任せなさい。
I love the character development. It's never rushed in this. It's probably one of the best pacing I've ever witnessed for such a short anime, compared to like Hunter x Hunter or Black Clover, I mean naturally.
何かしら。
くそ、なんでこんな時に。おい、急げ緊急事態だ。
Absolutely unbelievable plot twist. He's the super strong kid, and he's doing this. Man, oh man, this anime is just the best. The build up to this moment literally had my jaw like slightly ajar too. They built it up so well.
じゃあ助けろ。家族がどうなってもいいのか。
あんたたちの家族なら絶対に大丈夫よ。ルイゼルドが向かったんだもの。
This friggin' episode is so good. His plan has been foiled so quickly.
バックス、まだ世を待たせる気か。ああ、お前の首を今にも引っこ抜きそうだ。
腕が！
やれやれ。人間はか弱くてかなわんな。
Yeah, not showing it, but half the win is for the mystery that he said humans are so weak, but the other half is for him breaking his arm so easily, like he almost did it by accident. It was nuts.
無影小魔術を見て俺がロキシーの弟子だと気づき、事情を話して家族を助けてもらおうと考えたんだそうな。ジンジャーはジンジャーでザノバに人形を渡して俺に接触させたりと。
Everyone having been rescued and reunited with their families. Lovely scene right there. Especially the reactions on their faces telling us all of their feelings.
おー、師匠！
ご無事で本当に
Well, that was completely adorable.
お母さんが言ってましたけど、私結構育つと思いますよ。
子供がそういうこと言っちゃいけません。この鉢金は僕がずっと使っているものです。好きな人のものを身近に置いておくと安心するものです。
なんか分かった気がします。
Even though I didn't like what she was coming out with, I'm really glad he corrected her behaviour and put her on the right track, whilst also helping her understand a little why someone like him might hold on to an item like that.
変態って言ってごめんね、お兄ちゃん。
いいんですよ。
Oh, okay. She is more clever than I first thought.
物事ってのは唐突に起きるものだ。そして唐突に人が死ぬということも。
What in the actual hell just happened? Oh dear lord, I love that! Using magic to give the good boy a drink and then healing it up a bit. Being nice to animals is always a win! So many varied environments we've been blessed to witness, and this is just another one to add on to the huge and gorgeous looking pile. Her skills are getting mad improved, and on top of that, yet more stunningly smooth animation. They always bless us with these training segments. This is like the 8th I'd wager now? Maybe 9th or 10th even.
そう、先生。
だがうぬぼれるな。もう子供扱いはしないという意味だ。
はい。
Her becoming a warrior, and because of how long it's taken and how amazing the pacing was, it really feels like we've been along for the journey the entire way.
一匹ならともかく、あんなのの群れを相手にできるのは七大列強の上位陣ぐらいだろう。
More building of these 7 great powers is like the equivalent of a power structure in a normal shonen, but adapted for this specific anime style. Likely one of the best slow building moments I've witnessed. On top of looking amazing with the falling snow, it just did everything as simple as possible to rise the tension organically.
親の名前は
パウロ・グレラットです。
パウロに息子はいないはずだ。娘が二人きりのはず。
I think I understand where this is going, that he's a special being, all-knowing regardless of time, so he knows their names, he knows he wasn't meant to have met them yet, and he also knows that he's not supposed to have been born given his reincarnation. So much tasty mystery sauce being sauteed over this episode.
お前、人神という単語に聞き覚えはあるか？
あります。たまに夢に出てきて。
Oh my god, it's so tense!
そうか、ルーデウス、人神の人だったか。逃げろ、ルーデウス！
Unveiling this part of the mystery! This animation's smoothness and ferocity! That even in this dire state, that she would still try one final attack just shows her passion for battle and her sheer determination. She never had this fire in her belly when he met her. She does now. Oh, my boy has that same fire in his guts now too. This 1 minute long sequence earns a host of wins. To begin, he gets one for this dragon looking gate. I really dig stuff like that. Just reminds me of the spells found in The Rising of the Shield Hero. Then moving on, we get a maximum 2 wins award for the attack itself. How magic came into play in numerous ways, such as him using it to blast himself to a safer distance, prop himself up with the earth, and then the attack itself looking like one of the best of the series to date.
おじい様、お父様、お母様、誰でもいいから助けて!
Her love for him horribly on display as she calls out for anyone who has ever loved or protected her through her life to desperately help.
ほら、ルイジェルドやエリスが怯えていただろう？あれも呪いの一つだよ。この世のあらゆる生物に嫌悪されるか恐怖される。
This right here just really reminded me of the powers held by the bishops in ReZero, these wild and wacky powers. It's the same here, they're called cursors. It's another excellent piece of lore. Just take one for the entire scene. Sadly, our main character is standing the entire time, so best be safe, but it's so packed with lore. Rudius is still alive, and so is she, and so is my second main boy. She encapsulates, essentially, my feelings after that horrible battle and entire scene. No lie. In terms of a weird style, the start of this episode had it in spades.
ラプラスが自分にかかっていた呪いを槍に移してなすりつけたそうです。でもその呪いも時間経過で消えかけていると言っていました。
何？
切ったことで薄れつつあるって。
本当か?
Oh my word, his reactions to what Rudius is saying is so wholesome. He's like an excited kid, snapping back to being an adult faced with a sad reality, and then back to happy kid again.
これからの努力次第でそれは取り除けると人神は言ってました。
そうか。
I can't believe that I wrote what I wrote, and then he very likely teared up at the notion. He's so sweet, man. Oh no. His home.
ここがお前の故郷か。
ええ、本当はもっと綺麗なところだったんですけどね。
Have a sad win here for how his home has been changed and how it opens up the lore of the world event which occurred even further than it was already. I'm so incredibly impressed at how that event wasn't rushed or overly simplified. Instead it happened and it's been figured out bit by bit as time has flowed, and even now parts of it are still being revealed to us.
最後にお前たちを子供扱いするがいいか。また会おう。
また会おう。そうだ。
Not even gonna attempt to lie. Absolutely devastated by him leaving the group.
ルデウスもよく無事でいてくれた。
Oh, I'm so happy that she's okay and that they've reunited.
フェリップ様とヒルダ様は共に転移し、紛争地帯にて亡くなられました。ギレーヌが確認しております。
なんでサウロス様が処刑される必要があるんですか？
ルーデウス、座って。
The awful reveal that her parents both passed away, and also how greatly Eris has grown on display here.
エリス様を妾として迎え入れたいとピレモンのトスグレイラ
そんなことなど知らん。お前はエリスのことを考えているの。
農民はどうなさると。
お前がなんだ。うるさい。
Split win here, firstly for her obviously trying to stay brave in the face of so much terrible news and almost trying to become the head of a family now and so wants to cry away from everyone else. Second half is for perhaps setting up a large part of the next season, that being dealing with these lords who corruptly handed down a bogus sentence against her grandfather, perhaps trying to seize power. It's all very intriguing and goes to prove that even though they're home, they're far from safe. Obviously you know fully why I've skipped to this memory flashback sequence, but the good news is I'm a lot less against what's occurring during the scene than I was during the first half. It's now entirely consensual. Yeah, the age leaves something to be desired, but I lost mine when I was young, so I'd be a hypocrite for saying anything else, and their relationship has been built up for an enormous length of time. They really do care, and I dare say even love each other, and also it was dealt with in a really tasteful way too.
今の私とルーデウスでは釣り合いが取れません。旅に出ます。
アルフォンサ、エリスは
ギレーヌと共に旅立たれました。
どこに。
ルーデウス殿には口外するなと仰せつかっております。
Take a win? This is probably the biggest plot twist of the entire season. I never, ever thought anything like this would happen, and why has she cut her hair? I'm so confused. Like, the betrayal he must be feeling is palpable. Well, that was awful. They even managed to add character and life and beauty to this dreary looking scene.
元気に育てよ。
早く元通りになるといいわね。
Showing simple things like this, the growing of crops to feed the new arrivals and later the realm itself.
はい、どいたどいた。どいたどいて、邪魔よ邪魔。何食う？
おい、割り込みしちゃいけませんって小学校で習わなかったか？
やった生徒たちは必ず退学にさせる。
無理しないで。ゆっくり休んでいいからね。
Learning how his problems with bullying began in his previous life, trying to do the right thing, trying to sound cool, and yet ending up in the worst position as a result, even in spite of his family who did try to help him.
俺だってなれるもんな。
Also, I liked this moment because to me it demonstrated that he's not some infallible hero. He has many, many flaws, as we all know, through these 23 episodes. And here it's on display how he's not super strong. In fact, he's, in his own mind, quite weak.
そろそろ起きられてはいかがですか。お暇なようでしたらぜひ手伝っていただきたいことがございます。まずは井戸作りですな。ここは川まで少し離れていますので皆苦労しております。今まではお休みいただいておりましたが、テントの数も足りなくなってきておりますし、食料もやっと食いつないでいる状況です。
This scene just brings across a realism not often found in isekai anime, and that's that the world does continue to spin regardless of what the hero's going through.
お前すっげえな。さては名のある冒険者か。名前は？
ルイジェルドだ。パーティー名はデッドエンド。
It brought me a genuinely massive amount of joy to suddenly see him again. Isn't that mad? It's not been all that long, and it's like I finally found a long-lost friend.
ルーデウスが死んじゃうなんて私考えもしなかった。何もできない。私じゃ何も。いつもルーデウスに頼ってばっかりで。
Okay, have one here for finally having it make sense why she left. She felt like she had to learn to be able to live without him in order to live with him in the future. That was my take on it anyway. Let me know your thoughts down below.
私、ルーデウスを愛してる。修行して竜神を倒せるくらいになったら 今度は私がルーデウスを守るの。
Although I think her letter left a lot to be desired, I cannot lie and say that I'm not relieved to learn that she still does very much hold affection for him and that hasn't suddenly vanished. Again, mentioned this during Bakemonogatari and Iruma-kun, but take a win for altering hairstyles. It almost never occurs in anime, and yet in this one it's happened twice. I obtained an unreasonable level of joy from witnessing the exploits of everyone whose life he and the team at large impacted during their long journey. She flat out has the best introduction to herself, plus I can show the whole thing due to the rope. Ah, this reunion at long last.
母親はちょっとよく見えんな。
Oh dear lord, you leave me with that? I was all prepared. I even stepped away to get my head straight, brushed my teeth, and came back, and then you give me that? How dare you!
どれだけやり直す機会を与えられたって、人間そう変われるもんじゃない。
My guy essentially trashing every rubbish isekai that's ever been pumped out for broad appeal over the years. With the patter of the rain outside and the warmth inside as we relive a memory of the past, I'm left with feelings of both longing and comfort, oddly.
ルディ？はい？大好きよ。行かなきゃ。
There was something just inherently beautiful in that very simple scene, as it pushes Rudius to pick himself up and strive forwards for someone he loves and who loves him. The outstanding metaphors on display here, being brave enough to once more leave his safe place and risk allowing himself to be hurt again. Wow!
結局あなたと彼はどういう関係なのですか？僕にとっては恩人であり、師匠であり、友達でもあるけど、一言で言えば一番尊敬している人です。
She's still alive and she's still okay, and there's a mystery element. Who are these people? What's on her face? And where is he right now? Loving it! I told my wife the other night, Jobless Reincarnation shot up into my top 10 in record time. One single season and I'm in love. The characters, the music, the pacing, character building, world building and expansive lore were on point. But then introduce the story. Oh, the story! And how gripping it is. And then add in the final touch. Unbelievable animation and set pieces, and this becomes one of the best ever for me. I so hope that you all enjoyed this video. It took forever to write, narrate and edit, so a like and a comment would really go a long way to saying thanks. Of course, you can also pledge any amount you fancy on my Patreon from $1 upwards and vote in what I cover on this channel. And naturally, I'll see you hopefully one day in Season 2 or in any other video you choose to watch next. Nathan Bird, Bird Without a Word, Tyler Warner, Ali 50, Kawada Takashiro, Ted L, Isael Caldera, Mr. Waffle 64, Kieran Robinson, Chris Harris, Jonas Stahl, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Steelers, Matthew Blanchett, Kim Munt, Manuel Morales, Conito, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzcloud, Aurakeeper, Kepper, Jeffer 6263, Magnus, Kevin Nelter, Brendan Krier, Kaj Vorzelman, Sean Graves, The Epic Amanda, Galaxy Boss 22, Leaf Arn Hammer, Sentimento, Gaten 2000, Storm 970, Inakami and Water, Your Ed Vincent.